Hi everyone, Salesforce Development Day 12. Now let's see what we are going to learn today. Today we will discuss about the previous session overview, and then we'll talk about the iframe in the Visualforce page, and also we'll talk about the view state, how to enable the view state, and what are the visual forces we have created, where can we use those Visualforce pages, and Visualforce tab. What is Visualforce tab? How can we use that tab? And also how can we place that Visualforce page into the button? And then we'll have a conclusion, quiz, homework, and interview questions. So what did we learn in last class? List view. Right. What else? Select list options, select checkbox. Select radio. Charter. Data table, right? What else? Differences between the page block and data table data list. Yes, so those are the topics which we have discussed. Now today we will see how to create a, what is the Apex iframe. So when I say iframe, iframe is nothing but, in simple terminology, let's say here. So you have a photo of yours. This is your photo. This is your photo, normal photo. On paper there is a printed photo is there. This photo you are going to put it inside the, you are going to fit inside the iframe. You are going to place it inside the iframe. So this is the iframe. So whatever this format is there. Right, inside this, what you are going to do is you are going to place your photo inside of this frame. Inside of this frame. So this is a frame here. This is a frame. Inside this frame, you are going to place your photo inside this. That means iframe is nothing but inserting image, video, or web pages inside the frame. Inside the frame, which is nothing but iframe. Iframe is nothing but I'm inserting the either images or videos or web pages, whatever it is, I'm inserting within the frame. Within the frame. Now, this is general terminology. Now, this is what we call it. We have a normal photo. That photo we are placing into the frame so that it looks good and it is safety also. Because it is inside the frame, so nothing will happen to the normal photo. Now, when it comes to the Salesforce, in Salesforce, Apex iframe is used to display the external web resources inside the Visualforce page. External web's resources. That means external web resources is nothing but could be a image or could be a website or could be any web resource, right? Online resource, any online, like some pages are there you wanted to display, or you wanted to display Visualforce page within the iframe. Anything that you are displaying it inside the Visualforce page, in order to display the web resources inside the Visualforce page is called as a Apex iframe. Now we need to create an inline frame within the Visualforce page, right? So, and there are few attributes here. One is a SRC. SRC is the source. It is basically source of the URL that is specify the initial content of the online frame. And the next one is, in case the page is or the web resource is too big, my iframe is small. My iframe is small, but the web resource is big. In that case, I need a scrolling to check all the content of the web resource, all the content of the web resource. I wanted to check all the content of the web resource. So which is a scrolling. And then you can add a height and width. What is the space that you wanted to add a height and width. Take a notes of it, then we will see the example. Done. Take a notes. Okay. Now let's move on. Let's create a new Visualforce page. VF underscore iframe. For example, what I need is, forget about this iframe. What I need is, I need some text here. Like on this is a hyperlink text. Like a click here. Right? When I click on this is a hyperlink. And this hyperlink, as soon as I click on this, it should open the page. So if I want to implement this, how can I implement? I wanted to implement the hyperlink in the Visualforce page. How can we implement? Okay, href is a HTML. Command link is it's kind of a command link is basically to go to the next page or to bring to the previous page. For that purpose we use it. right? For example, I just needed some label here or some text here. When I click on this text, then I wanted to open this page. In the Visualforce page, we have a output link, apex colon output link. Now, this output link, for example, let's say here, click here. And what is the link that should be open is decided in the value. Now, what is the URL we should give? Let's give the trailhead link. Trailhead. Let's take this trailhead.salesforce.com. Now here I am going to specify trailhead.salesforce.com/today. Click on save. Click on save. Now let's click on preview. So what is happening? It is displaying the click here. Now if I click on it, it is opening in the same page. For example, if I wanted to open in another tab, it is opening in the same tab, but I wanted to open in the another tab. How can I open that? Target equal to line. So we have an attribute which is called as a target. Target equal to, let's say I'm going to give blank. Let's say click on preview. Let me switch to the lightning. Now if I click on the click here, it is opening up the next tab. Perfect. So this is how the website I'm going to display in the Visualforce page. This is one way of displaying the website or a web resource in the Visualforce page. What is that? Basically, I'm showing here, click here, one text and the hyperlink I'm showing it. When I click on this, it will open up the page in the next tab, right? This is a hyperlink. This is hyperlink. Let's assume that I wanted to display the image. I wanted to display the image. How can I display the image? For example, on top of this, click here, I wanted to display image. Apex colon image. I need to use the apex colon image. Now, for this image, close this. Now, if I wanted to display the image, for example, there are multiple ways. Are there directly I can take the image from the website by using the URL, right? I can take directly the URL, or else if I use a value, from where should I need to take the image?
Static resource. Local system.
Static resource. Now let's go to the setup. Now let's search for a static resource. Click on this static resource. Now let me, so we have a one image is there, which is Swapna ID. Also, I'll take another image. Let's suppose if I wanted to take another image, I need to click on a new button. Once I click on a new button, let's click on a choose. And now I have a Dreamforce here. Now let's say this is a Dreamforce. And let's create this one public. Click on save. Now let's click on a view file. So this is the page that I have. So this one I'm going to refer in the Visualforce page. So inside the value, curly braces exclamation, dollar resource dot reinforce. Click on save. Now image and output link displays side by side. They are going to display side by side. So this is the image and this is the whatever this clicky here is there, it is displaying the side by side. Now I wanted to reduce the height of this. I wanted to reduce the height of this. Let's give here height 20 pixel. It is too small. 70 pixel. Fine. I'm going to take 150. So let's keep it as a 150 height. 150 pixel, and let's give the breakpoint between these two. And let's refresh. What is happened? It is displaying the reinforce and then it is displaying the click here. Now, for example, I wanted to display like whenever we log into the any page, it displays the some names here, right? It displays the username who is logged in, user email ID, those information is displaying it. So how can I display the user details? Whoever is logged in, I wanted to display the user details. How can we display the details?
Dollar symbol, global variable.
Global variable, yes.
Dollar symbol.
So we need to use the dollar curly braces dollar
user dot
user dot
name
exclamation dollar user dot first name, and then let's give the space curly braces exclamation dollar user dot last name, and also we are going to show them exclamation dollar user dot email dollar user dot email. Now let's specify here this is the username, logged in user, and this is user email. User email. Now here I have username, user first name, user last name, and the email. Now let me put break, otherwise it will display the side by side. Now let's refresh. Now it is displaying the user logged in user and then user email. Now for example, this content I wanted to display at the right side. Which styling do I need to use it? Right now, logged in user is displaying
float
this. We need to use the style float equal float colon right.
right.
Now let's refresh. Now it is displaying perfectly fine. Now, at the bottom of this, I am going to display. At the bottom of this, I'm going to display the iframe. Let's display the iframe. Now we have seen displaying the images directly. I can display the website directly calling the URL from the image, or I can also use the output link in order to display the image web resource. And another way is iframe. Using the, I wanted to use here iframe. Now within this, let's say apex colon iframe, and it is a self-closed one. Let's give a source equal to, let's give a website name, which is app exchange. Let's give this app exchange. And this is the app exchange. Let's provide this URL. Now here source is this. And let's save this. Now at the bottom, it is displaying the web resource. This is not the image. This is actually the web. Whatever this website is there, that website I'm displaying within the frame. I'm displaying within the frame. But if you observe this, whatever my frame is there, within this frame, how much ever it is able to fit this frame, it is fitting it. Other data, it is not displaying it. It is not displaying the data. So what I'll do is I'll add a scrolling equal to true. Scrolling equal to true. We can say now. Now I have a scrolling of this website. Now it is displaying the all the content, whatever the app exchange is there, all the content, it is displaying it till the end of the website. Now end of the website, we have this, right? The footer information is there. So the same information will be available here also. The footer information. That means the entire website is going to display. I'm fitting inside the frame. Entire website I'm fitting inside the website. Now if you wanted to check anything like a finance related, you can click on the finance related, human related. All the actions will work as it is. All the actions will work as it is. Whatever the actions are there, all the actions will work. Now, this we will see. Now, this is how the website is going to display. Sometimes what happens is, now let's suppose, now this is the app exchange which is globally available, which is globally available. Anybody can access it, will display the data. For example, let's assume that I have a Dreamforce website. We have a Dreamforce website. Now let's copy this Dreamforce website. And what I'm going to do is, instead of this app exchange, I'm going to place the Dreamforce URL. I'm going to place the Dreamforce URL. Click on save. Now what it is saying that www.salesforce.com refused to connect. That means you cannot connect all the websites. You cannot connect all the websites. That means you cannot insert all the websites or all the web resources within the framework, within the iframe. The reason is, now if you wanted to access the Dreamforce is, it's not publicly available, right? It is not publicly available. So from the Dreamforce, we need to request a Dreamforce that can you open up your access so that we can call it from our Visualforce page. So that we can call it from our Visualforce page. So that request we have to send it because that is restricted by other resources. Restricted by other resources. Now, in case if I want that resource, the web resource to be displayed here, in case if I want the web resource to be displayed there, then we need to request a reinforce saying that we need this website within our Visualforce page iframe. So can you open up the access for us? So in that case, we can able to call it. Otherwise, there are few websites we cannot call it, or few YouTube channel or few links we cannot directly call here, right? Which requires a third party access to insert inside the Visualforce page. Right, app exchange is publicly available, so that's the reason we can see the page inside this. We can see the page inside this, but any of this link, for example, here it is a customer stories. Now, if I click on this customer stories, it will give me error because customer stories are restricted. You cannot call that from Visualforce page within the iframe. We cannot call that to display here. So they have to open up the access, right? Or then we need to implement some kind of an integration to get the authentication, and then we can display the information here. So that's another topic altogether. Right. So here there are the few websites which are you can do it, and few websites which are restricted to insert within the iframe. Insert within the iframe. Now this is how the data is displaying it. Right? This is how the data is displaying. Now let's assume that here, now if you look at this, now whatever the text is there, so this is the complete Visualforce page. This is complete Visualforce page. But if you look at this, there are text which are starting from exactly the hitting the wall. And here also it is hitting the wall to end it. And this is also hitting the wall to end it, to start it. So everything is starting from very beginning of this wall or ending at the exactly the end point of this, right? So in case if you want to adjust this end point, maybe till this point it should display. Or maybe it should start from just 1 inch differences of here, right? It should start from here. In case if you wanted to place, in case if you wanted to adjust that. In Salesforce, we have some kind of a styles. In HTML also we have. Now, so this is the complete Visualforce page. Visualforce page. Now, Visualforce page, you have 4 sides, right? So this side is whatever the text you have given, it exactly starts from attaching to this wall, right? And similarly, it is ending it exactly the attaching to this, whatever the letter it comes, it attached to this. Similarly, bottom also, you have something which is completely ending at the bottom. Similarly, at the top also, you have this, right? So what is this? This is called as a margin. This is called as a margin. In the 4 sides, whatever the last one or the Visualforce width is there, whatever the Visualforce width is there, it is called as a margin. Now margin, this is left, right? This is margin right, and this is margin top, and this is margin bottom. Now, in case if you wanted to add a space, or in case if you add the space between this margin to the text, because a lot of text is attached into the margin, right? So you can say margin left, some length you can give it, right? For example, this is where exactly the text is starting from margin. In that case, you can say here margin hyphen left colon 10 pixel or something, you can give the style so that it will be move 10 pixel. The text will not start from exactly from the margin place. It will give the some space from the margin left and it will start the text. Let's assume you have some card is available here, right? So your text is not starting from the attaching to the margin. Now within that you have within the Visualforce page you have a border. Inside this border you have the text is displaying from here. You have a text is displaying from here, right? So text is displaying. This is a click here. From here it is displaying it. Right, text is displaying exactly attaching to the border. It is not attaching to the margin. It is attaching to the whatever this border is there, that border it is attaching. In case if you have this kind of a thing. Now inside if you wanted to add any kind of a space. Inside if you wanted to add any kind of a space which is called as. Now this is left inside it and this side it has a right. And then you have it bottom and inside this and then you have it top. Inside if you wanted to add which is called as a padding, which is called as a padding hyphen left, padding hyphen left, and this is padding hyphen right, and this is padding hyphen bottom, padding hyphen bottom, and this is padding hyphen top. Right, within the Visualforce page, in case if you wanted to add anything, then you have to put a padding. In case if it is a touching the margin, then you have to put a margin style. Now let's see here. Now for example, in this case, you have a text which is touching this, right? It is touching here, it is touching here also. Now in that case, if you do not want to touch anything, now what I'll do is I'll click on right click, inspect. Now we have this. Now here I'm going to specify margin hyphen. So right side I wanted to add it. So right colon, let's say 30 pixel. Now here is a space which is added. Right, there is a space that gets added. Before how much it was before exactly it is touching the margin. Now I wanted to add a space. Now here is the space is added. Space is added. Right. In case on top also you wanted to add a margin. In case on top also you wanted to add a margin. Now margin top. Let's say margin top is also 20 pixel. Right. It is came down. It came down. And also let's add the text color. So color equal to, let's say, let's give blue violet. Right, this is the text. Now similarly, if I wanted to add this side, now click on this inspect. Now this side I'm going to add margin. This side is a margin left. Let's say 37 pixel. Now it has moved. It is moved. Similarly, if you want to add this, right? Now let's say here I'm going to add margin. All the sides, if you wanted to add it, margin, all the sides, top, bottom, everywhere you wanted to add it. Everywhere you wanted to add. Now 37 pixel. 37 pixel. Or if you increase it, now it is going to come in the center. For example, this is basically it is adding the. Now if I hover this, now this is the 79 pixel around this image is the space it gets added. For example, if you want only at the margin left you wanted, right? So it is added here. So like that you can adjust. Now let me update here. So div style, I'm going to add a float right, margin 30 pixel and margin top is also 20 pixel, and then color. Similarly for the image, I'm going to add margin left, margin left, style equal to margin left 30 pixel. Same thing I'm going to apply for, click here also, click on save. Now let's refresh. Now here is the space gets added, right? So it is added, it is starting from 30 pixel distance from the left, and here also it is ending at the 30 pixel distance, right? So it is starting from here and ending it also here, right? So this way, if you wanted to add anything, you can add the space by using the margin left, margin top, margin bottom, and margin is just in all over 4 sides you wanted to add a space. In that case, you can use the margin. Now, let's move on. And the next one is view state. What is this view state? View state is basically, now the terminology it says view state. That means state of the current page. State of the current page. What is the current page status? Is it has a too much space is allocated, or the performance is too huge, or it is taking a lot of time, or it has some issue in this page? So whatever the state of the page is there, which is called as a view state in general terminology. Okay, in general terminology, it is called as a state of the current page. Now, when it comes to the Salesforce, view state is nothing but view state holds the state or a size of the Visualforce page. State or a size of the Visualforce page that includes the component and the field and the controller side, everything, whatever we are writing within the Visualforce page, everything will be considered. That means every single variable, how much size it is taking and what is the state of that, everything it will capture in the view state. If the size of the particular page exceeds 135 KB, the maximum limit is 135 KB for every Visualforce page. Every Visualforce page, you can add whatever the how many tags you wanted to add, you can add 100 tags, 200 tags, it is up to you. So there is no limit on that, but there is a limit on the page. Page should not exceed the 135 KB. In case if it is exceeding the 135 KB, then it will throw an error saying that view state error. Now, how to, in case if it is showing the view state error, how can we reduce the view state error? How can we resolve this view state error is, now in order to reduce the view state error, you need to minimize the number of forms on the page. That means it is possible that you have used the apex colon form. So when you use the apex colon form, it will consider as a one view state. And view state is going to display only when you have a apex colon form. View state is going to display only when you have implemented apex colon form within the page. When you have this apex colon form within the Visualforce page, then only the view state is going to show. Otherwise, it will not show the view state. Otherwise, it will not show the view state. So either whenever you have a more than view state error, in that case, first step is either you reduce the forms on the page. Either you reduce the forms on the page or use the output link instead of a command link or a command button. Use the output link instead of a command link or a command button. Because when you use the command link and command button, it takes a lot of space at the backend. It takes a lot of space at the backend. Output link, command button, everything is the same. Those are links only. Those are links only. But which one should be utilized on which based on the requirement, we have to decide it. If you have so many command links in your page, then better instead of using the output command link, use the output link. Use the output link. Now, if you use the output link, then it will reduce the some size of or performance at the view state. And also, so that's what we have discussed. It requires to include the apex colon form component, unlike the apex colon output link. So that means you need to include within the apex colon form. When you have a button or a command links, anything which is having it, include within the apex colon form. And another way of reducing the view state is the number of data that we are getting it from the database. The number of data, what are the data that we are retrieving from the database has to be reduced. That means we need to reduce the number of records that we are displaying on the Visualforce page. Now, how you are going to reduce this? Just adding the filter condition. Like filter condition is sometimes there is some text which is displaying just a null. The record does not have any much data. It is completely null. Only the first name is there. In that case, we can remove the null values. Whatever the null results are there, we can remove it. So with that, this is one of the bare condition. Like this, you can apply filter conditions. Multiple filter conditions you can apply it. This is one of the filter condition in order to reduce a view state error. In order to reduce the view state error. Now, whoever is saying this word for the first time, SOQL, this is basically Salesforce Object Query Language. Salesforce Object Query Language. Now, what it does, it is querying the data from the database. I have a data in the database. I have a data in the database. Now here I have a Salesforce. Here I have a Salesforce. Somebody has to bring the data from the database. In the Salesforce, we have a Visualforce pages. We have a Apex, right? Or we are just displaying the default data, right? Whenever we are opening up the record, somebody has to bring the data from here. So who will bring the data from here to Salesforce is SOQL, Salesforce Object Language, Query Language. Salesforce Object Query Language. Take a notes of it. taken the notes of it? Okay. So let's move on. Now, in order to enable the visual view state, in order to enable the view state, we need to go to the personal information, click on advanced user details option, and then we need to enable the view state in the development mode. So in the advanced user details, you have a one checkbox which says show you view state in development mode. So this checkbox is available for each user. It's on the user level, it will be available. It is available on the user level. Now let's go ahead. So click on the setup. Not the setup. Click on this profile, settings. You will go to the personal information. Now click on the advanced user details. In the advanced user details, you have an option called, let's click on edit. Now you have an option called show view state in the development mode. Development mode is nothing but this is the development mode. So in the development mode, we can see the Visualforce page. That means, let me save this. Now here, this is the page. This is the page. Now let's click on account, open up the account. Let's say ID equal to. Now at the bottom, we can see the, right? So right now, whatever this Visualforce page is there, I can see the code here and I can see the result on top. But right now, I have enabled the show view state. I have enabled the show view state in development mode. Now I cannot see the view state here. Why? Because we do not have a apex colon form here. Now as soon as if I add a apex colon form, if I add a apex colon form, and let's say here apex colon form, click on this, save. Now here is a view state is available. Now it is displaying the view state. View state is only, it shows whenever you have a apex colon form tag is available, only that time it is going to show you the view state. Now click on this view state. View state is going to give the state as well as the performance, the size of the state and the size of the Visualforce page. Now it is 1.64 KB. What is the limit that Visualforce page has? What is the size of the Visualforce page?
135 KB.
135 KB. So 135 KB is the limit. Now here it is displaying the 1.64 KB and this is 1.51. Now in this we have an expression, internal component tree. Now let me open another Visualforce page. Let's go to the data table. Now let's click on the preview. Now let me add the ID on top. Now this data table already has a iframe. It already has a apex colon form. It already has a apex colon form. Now data table, So it is showing the state size is 4.92, 4.62, and then we have a internal and expression, internal componentry, and in case if we are calling any of the Visualforce pages, or in case if we are calling the Apex controller, right? Calling the Apex controller also it will give the information. Calling the Apex controller is also it will give the information. Right now we are directly pulling the data from Salesforce. So that's the reason it is a 4.9. So for other one, it was a 1.64. So based on your length of data, based on the how much content you have added, everything it will be considered. How much content you have added, everything will be considered. So this is about the view state. Okay, any questions on the view state? In the interview, right now they are not asking, but in case if they ask, they will ask you that what is the view state and when do we receive the view state error? So when do we receive the view state error? Whenever it crosses the page limit. The size of the page limit is 135 KB. Whenever it crosses the 135 KB, then we will receive the view state error. Then the following question they will ask, how do you resolve the view state error? So those are the options that we have discussed. Now, next one is a Visualforce used in. Visualforce used in. Now, so far we have discussed so many Visualforce pages. So many Visualforce pages we have discussed. What do you mean by definition? It is even in the real time also you can do that. In the real time, you can enable them. Right, this is mostly for the development. In case if the developer wants to know how much size it is taking it. Because sometimes all of a sudden size is crossing it or the performance is going huge on the Visualforce page. In production also you can enable and you can see this. This does not require any coding. This does not require any coding. So you just need to enable it. You just need to enable the option. Once you have enabled, then you can see what is the performance or what is the status of this Visualforce page. Right, it's kind of a hook. So basically Visualforce page, you do not have an option to see what is the performance level, or you do not have a something, how much is my page size. Sometimes Visualforce loading is going to take a lot of time. So what is happening, how much is the size if you wanted to see? So better open up the view state and then see the data here. Yes, Dhananjay, it's kind of a hook that is additional option which is available for the Visualforce page. Any other questions? Okay, so let's move on. Visualforce used it. So far we have created so many Visualforce pages, so many Visualforce pages. But where can we actually use these Visualforce pages? How can I use these Visualforce pages in the real time? So Visualforce pages, we can use it either in the tab or button or page layout, link or action or object manager. In 6 places, we can use the Visualforce pages. In 6 places, in the real time, we will use it in any of these 6 places. Any of these 6 places, we will use the Visualforce page. Now, let's see how to create a tab and how can we insert a Visualforce page within the tab. So, in order to go for a tab, first you need to search for a tab. In the setup, search for a tab. and then you will see the option called as a tab there, and then click on the new button. Now let me show you that. Now let's go to the setup. Now here search for a tab. Search for tab. Now you will see here tabs option is available. Click on these tabs. When you click on these tabs, now in this tab you have multiple options are there. One is normal custom object tab. When you create a custom object and if you wanted to create a tab for the custom object, you can use this. You can use this. And the second one, you have a web tab. This is web tab. In case directly the web page, you wanted to have the tab. So Dreamforce is there. So Dreamforce, you just wanted to add it as a tab, which is a directly redirecting to the website. Those are you can add it there. And the next one which we have a Visualforce tab. Visualforce tab. Now we are interested on this Visualforce tab. Now we will see Lightning component tab, Lightning page tab later. Now right now let's create a Visualforce tab. Right. So Visualforce tab is click on here, new button. Now once we click on the new button, now here you have a few options. Step 1 is a enter the details. We need to enter the what is the Visualforce page that we wanted to show on the tab. What is the Visualforce page that I wanted to show on the tab? Let's say I wanted to show the iframe. Iframe I wanted to show on the tab. And the tab label. Label name is let's say iframe. And what should be the tab style? Tab style is, let me choose some icon and then click on the next button. Now it is asking us, do you want to display this Visualforce tab by default for all the profiles or do you want it to restrict only few profiles? So for now, I'm saying that default on for all the profiles. Default on for all the profiles and then click on a next button. And then click on a next button. Now these are the custom apps, click on save. Now we have created a tab called iframe. Now let's refresh this. Details. Let's click on here. Apps. Now search for a iframe. Click on here iframe. Now the one which we have implemented, now we have added the iframe. Within the iframe, we are showing the same Visualforce page, whatever we have implemented. The same Visualforce page, we are displaying it here. Right? We are displaying the same Visualforce pages. But it is as a navigation item or tab. Even in Classic also we can see. Lightning, Classic, both it will be available. Lightning, Classic, both it will be available. Now here I wanted to show the iframe. Click on this plus button. Now let's iframe, click on this. When I click on this iframe, it will be displayed in the Salesforce also. It will be displayed in the Salesforce. So this is the content. In Lightning also, it will be displayed as a navigation item. So both in the Classic and Lightning, the tab will be available. The tab will be available. So whenever we create a tab, we need to click on a new tab on the Visualforce tab. And then there are 3 pages. In first one, you need to enter the details. The details are Visualforce page name. Which page do you want to show in the tab? And what is the tab label, tab name, and tab style. And then you need to add a profile. That is the second page. And the third page is you need to add custom apps. Taking notes of it. Okay, next one is, let's take a requirement. Now, requirement is create a new Visualforce page. Description is the implement a Visualforce page to save the account. So on that Visualforce page, you need to have an account name, rating, phone, industry, and then click on a save button. That means you need to implement a Visualforce page. You need to implement a Visualforce page. In this Visualforce page, you are going to have one page block here, page block section. And this is the page block section. Let's say this is account, new account information. New account. And below you are going to add it, you are going to include 4 fields. One is account name. And the next rating. And after that we have an industry. And then phone. And then phone number, then finally you have a save button. Now here it is the account name, account rating, industry, and then phone number. And finally here we have a save button. There is a save button is available. Now, implement this Visualforce page. So the requirement is implement the Visualforce page. Implement a Visualforce page. Now it should show the rating as a pick list and industry is also a pick list. because these two are the business values. If I go to the Salesforce and if I go to the account, let's create a new account. Now here we have a rating is a drop down. By default, it should show all these fields as well as the industry is also Salesforce has a pick list values. Now it should show all these pick list values. The same concept need to be implemented. Okay, and then you have a save button. As soon as you click on your save button, as soon as you click on your save button, in the Salesforce UI, the account record should be created. As soon as you click on your save button, the account record should be created. Account record should be created. So this is the Visualforce page. Now implement this Visualforce page right now. You guys have 10 minutes. Implement it, then we'll see. Implement the Visualforce page. At least implement whatever we have it here. Implement this Visualforce page. 4 fields: account, rating, industry, and the phone number. User has to enter the data here in this page. User has to enter the data in this page. Anybody completed? Okay. Can you give me the code? What you have implemented? Whoever is completed, paste the code. Anybody completed? Another 2 minutes. Okay. Right. Okay, I have received from the few members. How about others? Offline. Okay. So here is the thing. First, we need to implement an Apex page. Whenever we create a Visualforce page, the Apex page will be created. Apex colon page. When we are creating the Apex colon page, here the Visualforce which is implemented to create a account record. So that means I need to call here standard controller equal to, I need to pass it account. I need to pass account. So this is the starting of the page. And then at the bottom I have a Apex colon, closing the Apex colon page. Now within this, we have to include a Apex colon form. We need to include Apex colon form. Why we need to include Apex colon form? Because we are expecting the input from the user. So when we are expecting the input from the user, I need to have a Apex colon form. Apex colon form. Now within this, I am going to add a page block section. Now I have a page block. This is the page block. Apex colon page block. And closing this Apex colon page block. Within this page block, we are going to include Apex colon page block section. Apex colon page block section. Now in the page block section, I have a title here, new account. Let's say title equal to new account. This is the Apex colon page block section. And let's end the apex colon page block section. Now, within this, now here I have a 4 input fields. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 input fields. Now that means within the apex page block section, I have to include one input text. This is for the account, second input text for the rating, third input text is for the industry, fourth input text is for the phone number, right? And then finally I have a command button. The next one is which I need a command button. The next one is which is a command button. Now here I need to have a command button. Now in this I am going to add apex colon input field value equal to double quotes exclamation curly braces exclamation account dot name curly braces exclamation account dot name, and we will close the apex colon input field. Similarly, I need to add it for the rating. This is for input rating. This is for rating. Similarly, we need to add it for industry. And then we need to add it for the phone number. And then finally we have a command button, apex colon command button action, which we are going to provide the action here. We are going to take it by default to Salesforce action equal to double quotes, curly braces, exclamation, save. And what is the value to be displayed? Value on this is display the save account record. Now let's close the command button. So this is all about our code. So this is, we have to write the code. We have to write the code of this one. Now let's go ahead and implement same thing in the development console. Developer console, file, new, Visualforce page, vf underscore new, create new account, no space. Here the first one is a standard controller equal to account, and then within this I have a apex colon form, and then within this we are going to add a apex colon page block, and apex colon page block section. For page block section, we are going to add a title equal to new account, and here apex colon input field equal to value, so self close, apex colon input field. Now here I am going to add value equal to double quotes curly braces exclamation account dot name. Same I am going to add it here. 4 fields, name, rating, industry, and then phone. And after this I have one more which is called as a command button. command button. Inside this button, I have a action equal to, we are going to use a standard action, exclamation, save, and let's say value equal to save account record. Now let's click on save. Let's click on a preview. Now this is the information it is displaying it. So here, this is the page block section. Within the page blocks, I have a 4 fields and then save account record. Save account record. Now here, if you say here, now for example, I'm going to create a record. VF page underscore 1. This is it. I do not have a VF page account. Is there anything with the VF page? All customers. I do not have any records. So let's say I'm going to create a VF page. Rating is a warm. Industry is, let's say, education. And the phone number is some phone number. Click on the save record. Once we click on the save record, automatically it will be saved inside the Salesforce. Automatically it will be saved inside the Salesforce. All customers. What happened? It did not save. VF page. Okay, so why we did not save it? Let's see the logs. It says successfully created.
Ma'am, can we find ID from the debug, like the logs that are generated?
So now we have this duplicate detector, that's fine, for flow account. Now we have we have created. And this is the controller. This is the controller. We have page. Now let me do one thing. Now input field. Let's go for this input text. Rating industry is fine. And then I'll take this as a input text. Perfect action save. Action save. Click on save. Right now, new VF page. Click on the rating industry. Okay. The problem is on the account level. Whenever we are creating the account level, we have a mandatory field which is called as an email. Now, if I'm creating this record, right, email is mandatory. Email is mandatory, so that is what is missing. What I'll do is, let's go to the edit object. Let's find what is the API name of the email field. Go to the fields and relationship. Now we have an email underscore C. So let's add the email also. Now instead of phone number, I'm taking the email, click on save. Now let's create a new record. Now here I'm going to give a new page. And what else we have given, rating and the industry. And finally the email I have given gmail.com. Click on save. Yeah, now it is saving perfectly fine. Now let's go ahead. Click on this preview again. Now let's say we are page 1 and the rating equal to what? Industry equal to education. Email is samskaran@gmail.com. Click on save record. Now it is able to redirect to the lightning page. The record is created. In case there is any mandatory fields are there, make sure that you have entering the mandatory information. Mandatory information. Now click on the details. Right, so it is created the email, account name, rating, and this is the ID that is generated. ID that is generated. So right now we have created a Visualforce page. Right now we have created a Visualforce page. This Visualforce page is to create a new account. So that is the requirement. So that was the requirement. Requirement is a create a new page or a new account or a saved account. Implement a Visualforce page to save a account. So what are the fields we have to display? Account name, rating, phone number, and industry. Instead of phone, we have taken the email because email is a mandatory for us. Now this same Visualforce page, whatever we are doing it, now what I'll do is on the record level, I'm going to add one button here. I'm going to add a button here. Now how can we add that Visualforce page on the button? Now we have a second concept, Visualforce -button. We can use a Visualforce within the button. So setup object manager, click on the object and then create a new button. Here we have a button, links and action. Click on this buttons, links and actions and then create a new button. Or else you can update the existing button. Let's say, let's go to the Salesforce. Now this is the account. Now let me go to the account object manager. Now here we have a buttons, links and action. Buttons, links and action. For example, we have a new standard page is there. Now you wanted to override this new page. What is happening right now? When we click on this new page, it will open up the standard Visualforce page. It is opening up the standard Visualforce page layout. It is getting open. But what I need is I wanted to open the default, whatever the Visualforce page which we have created. That's what I wanted to open. So let's go ahead and update the existing button. Click on edit. When we click on edit, it will take us to this screen. This screen. This is only the screen. This is the screen when it is getting updated the standard button. When we are updating the standard button, this is the screen will be shown. And this is basically it will override the standard button or a link change what is happening when user clicks on it. And here you have a Salesforce Classic override. Salesforce Classic override. Now let's see. So here you have a one option. Three options are available. You can override the Salesforce Classic, Experience, and Mobile override. Which are the one you wanted, you can do it. So let's suppose I wanted to override the Salesforce Classic. Okay, so here you have the option no override user use the default. That means whatever the Salesforce is provided, just use the default one. Or else if you wanted to call the Visualforce page, call the Visualforce page. Call the Visualforce page. Now I have selected the Visualforce page. Now as soon as I have selected the Visualforce page, below to checkbox and the comment will be displayed. This is displayed. If I disable, those will not be displayed. If I enable this comments and skip record type selection page is getting displayed. Now here Visualforce page is, what it does is, it is going to show me the different Visualforce pages. Now if you observe here, it is showing me only three Visualforce pages. Only three Visualforce pages. But how many did we create a Visualforce pages? We have created so many Visualforce pages. We have created Visualforce pages. Now we have created around 10 we have created, right? So more than 10 we have. More than 10 Visualforce pages we have created. More than 10 Visualforce pages we have created. Right, these are the Visualforce pages we have created. But how many Visualforce pages actually showing here? Only three it is showing. What is the reason only it is showing three? One is a VF charter, create a new icon, and second one is tab panel. Because whenever the Salesforce is choosing the Visualforce pages here, what are the Visualforce pages there? How it is going to choose which Visualforce page should be displayed here? In the Visualforce page, we will mention the standard controller on the Apex colon page. We have a standard controller. We have a standard controller. If you specify standard controller, if you specify standard controller equal to account, if you specify standard controller equal to account, then those pages will be displayed. That means what it is going to verify is what are the Visualforce page standard controller is there, is that standard controller is equal to this object manager, equal to this object manager. Whatever this object manager name is there, is it matching on the standard controller object name? If it is matching, then only display those Visualforce pages. Then only display those Visualforce pages. For example, here it is showing the VF charter. Now, if I open the VF charter, file, open resource, VF charter. Now, let's click on open. Now, in this case, if I say here contact, I'm going to say contact, and here we are going to pass the contact ID, click on save. Now, let me refresh this page. Now, that particular Visualforce page will not be displayed here. Right now, it is displaying the only two. Only two. VF charter is not displaying. Before the VF charter was displaying it. Now it is not displaying. So basically, it is going to verify the object manager name. Is it matching with the standard controller object name? If it is matching, only that will be displayed. For example, I wanted to override the one which we have created a create new icon. Now I have selected it, click on this save. Click on save. Right now, my new button is updated. Click on refresh. It takes some time to update it. In the meantime, let's switch to the classic. So let's go to the classic profile, switch to Salesforce Classic. Now let's go to the account. Now let's click on here, new account. When we click on a new account, it is displaying the record type, and then it is displaying this page. Why it is displaying this? Click on view page, not the view page button. Let's go to the buttons place. Now we have a new button. Now click on this edit. Did not we click on a save button? Create account, click on a save. Now it is updated. Now let's go back to the account. Click on a new. Now customer account. Now it is redirected to the our Visualforce page. It is redirected to the our Visualforce page. On top it says RED URL, redirect URL, and this is the record type. And here is the VF underscore create new account. That is our Visualforce page. Now if I create this, new Visualforce page. So rating is a warm, industry equal to construction, email, let's say akhil@gmail.com. Now click on your save record. It will be redirected to the new Visualforce page. Similarly, in the lightning also it will happen same. Similarly, in the lightning also it will happen the same. Now go to the account. Now I have updated the existing new account, customer account, click on next. Now it will be redirected to the our Visualforce page. Let's go to the account, buttons and relationship. Right, we have create new account is there. Click on refresh. Right, it is updated to the Visualforce page. It is redirected to the Visualforce page. It takes some time in the lightning, but it works. So this is lightning page. Rating is a hot, industry equal to, let's say, entertainment, email is let's say ram@gmail.com. Click on save account. Now the record is created. So this is how for the existing button you can update the Visualforce page. This is for updating the standard button. I already have a standard button. I can update the standard button with the Salesforce Visualforce page. Similarly, if you want to create a new button, you can create a new button. So for new button, you have an option here. For example, I wanted to create here new button. In that case, go to the buttons and links. Here you have a new action, new button. Click on a new button. Click on new button. When you click on a new button, it will be redirected to the new button or a link. New button or a link. Now here you need to choose a detail page button. detail page button, and the behavior has to be displayed in new window. Content is a Visualforce page. Content is Visualforce page. Now, this how to create it, we will see tomorrow. Okay, how to create a button on the record level, we will see tomorrow. So questions, which Visualforce tag supports multiple value selection at a time? Which Visualforce tag supports multiple value selection at a time? Now that means I can select the values, multiple values can be selected at a time. Right. So select list, multiple, select true. For even for checkboxes also, we can select the multiple values. How to display external web resource inside the Visualforce page? Apex colon, iframe. How to enable the development mode for the Visualforce page and what is the use of it? Right, profile settings. User settings, we can enable the user tab mode. Okay. Right, so here Visualforce pages allow we used to save page instead of switching the development in the another page. If we wanted to see the user output, user interface and development in the same page, then we can use the development mode. And in order to enable this, we can go to we have to click on Avatar settings, advanced user details in personal information. Then we need to enable the development mode and click on the save. Right, so here I did not ask the another option, which is a show view state in a development mode. If you say view state in the development mode, that is for displaying the view state. But here, I'm just asking the development mode. Okay, next one is what is view state in Visualforce page?
Stores components of the Visualforce.
What is a view state in the Visualforce page?
It throws the view state error if the page exits.
Right, so it is basically view state holds the state and size of the Visualforce page. That includes the components and fields and the controller state. When do we see the view state error in Visualforce page?
Whenever page limit exceeded 135 KB.
If the size is exceeds the 135 KB, then we will see the view state error. How to reduce the view state error?
Avoid command link. Use output link instead.
Avoiding apex
And
form.
form. Limit the forms.
Form. So minimize the forms on the page. Use the apex colon output link instead of a command link, command button. And the second one is reduce the number of records displayed on the page. Now take a homework. Homework is implement a Visualforce page. Implement Visualforce page with following fields. Enter first number, enter second number, select your choice. Select your choice. So this is the screen. So you have a calculate page, enter first number, enter second number. Then you have a choice, add, sub, multiple division, and the result should be here and the calculate is here. Second homework is implement a Visualforce page with the following fields. Enter the first number, second number, third number. Select your choice greater and smaller. Calculate button and the result is. And the next assignment is implement a Visualforce page to fit yesterday's Visualforce page in iframe. Whatever yesterday's Visualforce page is there. In the homework which I have given, the tab panel, right? So those put it into the iframe. Next assignment is implement a new Visualforce tab. You need to implement a tab for a Visualforce page, and on click on that page, show any existing Visualforce page. So that means on the clicking on the tab button. Now here you have a tab. If you click on this any tab, it should display. Now whatever we have implemented, for example, we have implemented a iframe. So when we click on this iframe, it is displaying the Visualforce page. Similarly, you need to implement a tab to display any existing Visualforce page. And next trial head will provide this trial head. And that's all for today.